Yeah. This is your part, bro. What am I talking? It's your time. This is almost my last time, too. I wrote 11 tonight. Got a long time to go. No, one thing we do want to bring out, Carol Moore. Is Carol here? Carol's not here. Carol's daughter, Melissa, was in a wreck yesterday afternoon out on Gillyville Road. I don't know if y'all saw it in the paper. Lynn Page and Melissa Moore had a wreck, and Carol's daughter, Melissa, has 2 broken jaws. They're wired together, plus they had to put some pins in her toes. So let's do remember Melissa as we say our prayers tonight. Let's give her a little extra special thought as we go through. That's the only sickness that was reported to me tonight when I came in. Did anybody else have any club member, family member, or friend that they would like to report on tonight? Well, great. We've got a well bunch of folks. We're proud of that. Fair's on its way, so we're just proud that everybody is well and hope that they stay well. Do we have any special guests tonight that would like to be introduced? We're going to start at our table on the far right over here. Do y'all have any guests on your table, member guests that would like to be introduced? How about the second table here? Third table? Fourth table?
My guest tonight, my daughter Pam.
Introduce my 3 sons. Sounds like a TV show, didn't it? Gary Jr., Glenn, and Greg.
Glad to have you on. Julie, glad to have you. How about Shelley Davis' table here? Any guests on it? We've got some special guests that will be introduced later, but any other guests on the table? Okay, I got a couple of announcements that I want to make real quick. One is, if you read your bulletin and if your husbands have told you, ladies, the Exchange Club is putting together an Exchange Club cookbook. You may submit as many recipes as you want to, but we need at least 3 recipes from each Exchangite family. So we want you to get your recipes together, and also we're going to have a men's section. So you men get your favorite recipe together and turn it in, and turn it in to the president or to myself, and we'll be glad to get it to the right people. And we're going to have a very special cookbook. All you need to do is type it out or print it so that it can be read, and put your name and your telephone number on the recipe, so that we can get a proper credit of where it goes. That's one announcement. There's one other, and we've got any category that you want to enter in is fine. It doesn't make any difference what kind it is. We've got one other special, very special announcement tonight to make, folks. The board of directors have met. And you know, Butch mentioned a while ago that he sat over on this table, but it's been 3 years. And the board of directors, headed by Pete Peters, has said that it took 3 years to upgrade that table to the standards that it is now. And that he could not come back to that table, that he had to go to the old folks' table. Well, they heard about it. They heard about it, and to add insult to injury, they voted that he couldn't come back. So the only place left, we're going to set you up a table in the lobby. Next Friday week, you will have a table in the lobby. Lord, I know how you feel, son. Where are you? Nobody wants you. I'll tell you what. Ain't nobody gonna sit in that chair. I'll sit the chair up. We do have some special guests tonight. Over on our left. I had the privilege last night of being in Columbus to their what name that place we were at?
Our clubhouse.
Oh, your clubhouse. It looked like more bar to me. And but all the help and with the good Columbus people, and we enjoyed it. We always enjoy going over to see them. We enjoy them returning and coming to us. We have our come September 1 district president, again from Columbus, Georgia, and he's married to a president of the Exchangite Club of Columbus, Jim and Dot Sheridan. Y'all stand, please.
we have a hat event from over there. The immediate past president, Fred Hope, and his wife Sue. Fred had an outstanding year. Fred, commend you for what your club did over there this year. Y'all had a real good one. You're still not number one. You're sitting at number one. I mean, we may not be number one, but we're far ahead of number two. And this next lady, bless her heart, she is the sweetest one thing. To be married to Doug, I'll help him with Doug and Pat Eddie, a member of our club, and I'd like to ask he and his good wife to stand. The one is, would you stand for? How long have you been president? See, well, I was in first, second grade at that time. One announcement before we get into some seriousness. Larry Griffith, you got what? You having a breakfast tomorrow morning at...
Breakfast tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, work party at 8. Pete said bring some gloves. We got the wall spray. And pick up trucks.
All right. One other thing, Friday week, the 8th, 8th and 9th, Thursday and Friday, we will have a big equipment sale on the fairground here. We had about 15 people that took their hands last week, said they would help us cook and serve. Would you please see me or Jeff immediately after this, but I need to talk to you just a minute. So I need your names and telephone numbers. Great time, Mr. Exchange. We'll ask Leonard Knight to come forward. Mr. Leonard is our 19 and 87 and 88 Mr. Exchange.
I want to take a moment to digress from the presentation to say again, this has been a tremendous honor. When your peers select you for any position or honor, it is one that's deeply appreciated. And Betty and I have much appreciated this honor that we have shared with our club this year. Again, to each one of you, we express our deepest thanks and appreciation. Tonight, it will be a great honor to present the person that I'm going to present to you as Mr. Exchange for the incoming year. The person is very special to all the members of our club, he and his family. And I am positive, within reason that he certainly does not know, this honor will come tonight. And so it will be a surprise, and it was to me a great joy. And so, with this, again, we say thanks. To our immediate past national president, our immediate, but one of our national presidents, one of the great people, and when you leave here tonight, he will join in your thoughts as being one of the great people that you have known and heard. I can assure you of that. We heard him at our district convention. We were thrilled with every moment that he spoke. We're so happy to have him tonight. To our district president, coming in September the 1st, Jim, and your lovely wife. To one of our districts, past district presidents, Charlie Foster. We're delighted that they can share with us tonight. To our president, one that we have loved so much this year, Butch Griffith. To our special guest tonight, our fellow Exchangite, these beautiful ladies. It is a joy that I share with you these thoughts. And I'm sorry that we cannot present this in a way that would not come as a big surprise, but the first sentence, of course, will probably give it away, at least to the one that it applies to. Because there's few people in this world that was born in Mystic, Georgia. But he was. On June 5th, 1937. Now, he moved to Marshallville when he was 2 years old. Attended grammar school in Marshallville and graduated from Fort Valley High School. And Jean, she knew every bit of this. She knew every bit of it, okay? He attended Fort Valley High School where he always carried home his speller, and there's a real reason behind this. It was required that the students carry home a book each day, and since the speller was a singing, that was the one. One of his beloved teachers, and I would love to meet her, said that he would never amount to gully dirty. But I I want y'all to know that we take issue with her. He did amount to go. We know her. Now, when he got ready to go to college, I certainly tell you, I hate to share this. He went down to Florida and then over to Albany, but in looking at the situation over, he's just simply overqualified for these schools. He did attend Albany University for 1 year, but they saw that he either had to make him a full-fledged professor or he would have to go on to another school. Then he discovered the big G. You got one friend. Spending his last 3 years of college there, of course his first at Albany, where he graduated with a degree from the University of Georgia School of Business in 1963. He served 6 years in the U.S. Army Reserve doing a 6-month tour at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. He joined an insurance company, State Farm, in 1964, moved to Columbus, Georgia, chosen the claims person of the year in the insurance business in Columbus, or in the insurance industry in Columbus, Georgia. Also served as chairman of the Board of Deacons at Edgewood Baptist Church in Columbus. He has served as chairman of the Finance Committee and served 2 years as chairman of the Board of Deacons of our own First Baptist Church here in Albany, 1985-86. Has served as director of Adult Sunday School Department for the last 15 years. He's past vice president and incoming president of the Anchorage. And he has become a legend in the field of McDonald's work. I understand from reliable sources that Ron was going to file a suit. He can't put up with this man's popularity, especially with the children and the lovely ladies. But he does do a tremendous work in our Exchange Club in this area and many others. Of course, we recognize him as past chairman of the Bluegrass Festival. And I asked his wife if she would rate him in any way that she saw fit. And I think this is just really great. His children, of course, his son and daughter, whom you did not know would be here tonight, but if you look to your right, you'll find them present tonight. His mother and father rate him as a good son. His in-laws rate him as a good son-in-law. This is a high honor, maybe higher than the one you're going to get tonight. Well, your mother-in-law rates you in any rate. I mean, she rates you all. His wife says he's a wonderful husband. They've been married 28 years on September 16, 1988. And his children, I think, would be most gratified to say that he is a wonderful father. And to you, Frank, 23 years old, and to his lovely daughter, Jennifer, 17. And his wife and his family say to him, we love you dearly. There's many more things that you and I could say about this wonderful man and the service that he's brought to our Exchange Club. But I wouldn't want to take another moment away, and I'll ask Gene Crow if he'll come to this distinct honor tonight.
Anybody take what he said? I thought that was beautiful. In addition to being true. You know, I've never considered myself as a speaker. I've never tried to make a speech. And I certainly don't even know where to start now. In fact, it seems like I've already been up here 30 minutes. It reminds me of a story I heard about a fellow who was ill and went to the doctor, and the doctor examined him and told him that we need to sit down and talk. It was serious, and the guy gets white, and how serious? And he said, well, you've got about 6 months to live. He said, good gracious, are you sure? He said, yes. There ain't there anything I can do? And he said, yeah, there is. He said, what? He said, you pack up and move to Alabama. Said, when you get over there, buy you 150 head of hogs, and then find you a widow woman with at least 8 children and marry her.
And he called me, he said, well, will that cure what ails me? He said, no, but that'll be the longest 6 months ever. This is the longest 6 months I ever worked with. This is a beautiful, beautiful plaque, one that I always cherish. I'm overwhelmed that you would honor me this way, and I can tell you from the bottom of my heart that I appreciate it. It's a real honor. Exchange means an awful lot to me and to my family. Through the years, my entire family, the same as yours, has really enjoyed Exchange for the many things that we do. And I'm not as eloquent as my friend Leonard Knight. Well, yeah, I am. But I was sitting back there drinking in what he said. You almost wanted to pat your foot to that. Without taking up any more time on the program, President, and officers, and Exchangites, I am deeply honored and I thank you.
The past recipients stand with me. Dean, they were going to give me this money to take the trip. So I decided not to take the trip. I won't give it to you, and your family asked me not to give it to you. But instead, we're going to give you a check from the Exchange Club, Child Abuse Prevention, for $900. Another job well done. Gene, that means that you got to work a little bit harder. Well done this whole year. We're going to get that man. Marvin Lloyd, would you stand? Marvin was the chairman of this committee, along with John Boyd, Gary Graves, Alex Trohan, Emma Owens, and of course our cook, Gene. Let's all give them a great hand. Alex could not be here tonight, and I'm sorry. Alex is tired. I begged him to come tonight, but he went home and took a bath. What he made was take a bath. Let's stop for a few minutes every once in a while and go by and see Alex. I've got one thing that I would like to give to the club, or give to a member of the club. A lot of times we ask people to do something and we never say thank you. We ask people knowing that it's going to cost them out of their pocket. This gentleman is one that, in the time that he's been in Exchange, has never said no. He's never said, I'll try. He's never said, call me back later. I could say, John Willie, we need to do so-and-so. Yes, I'm ready. And he'd go. So I've asked Deputy Dog to help me tonight, keep the things straight. So Deputy, if you come on down, I'll wish you bring to the podium tonight Jeff and Barbara Shipping. While they come in, let me tell you that this boy has been for the national and local and district conventions at his own expense. He was the ward chairman for the district this past year and did a fantastic job, saying that he knew very little about what he got. But this boy is ready to go. He can shovel out there in that hog barn just as fast as you like. Jeff, I'd like to present the award to you. This is Jeff Sheffield. This award is presented to express our deepest appreciation for your work and support the Exchange Club of Albany for the year of 1988. Barbara and Jeff, thank you very much.
I gave the warrant so he could kiss Barbara.
Butch surprised me again. That's not the first time that he surprised me, but he surprised me again. And just comes deep from my heart when I say that I love Exchange. And I do my work with Exchange because I want to and because I love it. I don't need any reward, I don't need anything to make me want to do it. It's just a good bunch of folks to work with, a good bunch of folks to be around. And each one of you deserve an award because each one of you give us your time and your support to this club. Without each one of us, it wouldn't be a club. And so we all are winners tonight. When we see this club, when we can give $900 to child abuse, when we can give all the other awards that we've seen, it's worth it all. But I do appreciate it, and I thank you, Butch.
Hey, Fred, just when he gets down in the short road, it sort of hurries up, don't it? Ain't that what you say, Joe Brown? Work party's tomorrow. Hey, it gives me great pleasure to introduce a gentleman tonight that I have come to think a lot of. Never will forget up in Detroit 2 years ago, just 3 years ago it was, at the National Convention, and things sort of got in a lull of it, sort of dull. And you've been to ball games where they say, bring on Willie, bring on Johnny. Well, they started saying, bring on Lieberman, bring on Lieberman. Well, they brought Lieberman on. I didn't know what Lieberman was going to do, whether he was going to dance or clog or whatever. But I tell you what, he liked to dance when he got up there. I'm not going to tell you how good he can sing, because he's going to tell you later. I'm not going to tell you how smart he is. He's going to tell you how smart he is. But Lieberman comes to us from Montgomery, Alabama. He was a native of Winfield, Alabama. If he'd ever come to Georgia, he probably got somewhere. He was a former teacher of vocal music. He has continued his interest in music through his music ministry in the local Baptist church for more than 35 years. He was named Outstanding Alabama Exchangite in 1971. He has been a member of the Exchange Club since 1957. When he joined the Exchange Club in East Montgomery, he served as National President-elect in 1975, National President in 1976. He is President and General Manager of Eaves Monument Company in Montgomery. Lieberman is an active deacon in the Woodley Baptist Church, a longtime member of the Masons, Shrine, and American Legion, and he is married to the sweet Lois Nichols of Montgomery. He's a two-brother to me. And I say that, I think he's number one, he's a Christian brother of mine, and he's a brother in exchange. Y'all let me welcome Lieberman Eaves, please.
I'm telling you, Mama, didn't that sound good? But when you get before Exchangeites of the quality that I'm before tonight, what can I say except I'm in a club, you're in a club, the best club of its kind. It's the king of clubs, it's not meant for duds, the liveliest you can find. Exchangite. If you're not one of us, you ought to be. I love the club, the only club that never is behind. Hey! Oh, I love you. I was born in Alabama, as you just heard. But, you know, coming around into Georgia like this, I wish I'd have been born here. And if it ever happens again, I'm going to see this. Let me get Mama straight right quick, Mother. I remember. She always tells me when I get up to speak to remember the alphabet of public speaking. Well, I remember it. ABC, always be cheerful. The EF, do everything fast. GHI, get hot instantly, and I can go on to tell you all of them. She's not interested in any one except the last three. X, Y, Z. Examine your zipper. I want to tell you how proud I am that you invited Lois to come with me. You see, we've been married 53 years. And after 53 years, that's a lot more fun to carry her with me than it is to kiss her goodbye. Which didn't tell you, but we have two fine children. We have a girl and a boy, and 4 grandchildren. And about 4 hours, I'll tell you about my grandchildren, but I must tell you about the 2 children that Lois mothered for me, and I'm so proud of. Our daughter came along first, and I often tell people everywhere we go that if the Lord had given me the material, said, Eads, make you a girl like you want, I wouldn't have changed a thing about her. She was beautiful, she was talented, she's smart, she's a musician, she has all the traits of her daddy, and I wouldn't change anything about her, but her mother had more time with her than I did, and as she came along, we were traveling on the road, and Lois had to be with her all the time, and they became more or less like sisters. Even though the age gap was there, it was just a conversation on the level. And all this went on even until she got into college. And she'd report to her mother so regularly. And one time she came in and told her mother, said, Mother, I've got a problem I want to discuss with you. And she said, why, yes, darling, what is it? She said, well, first I want to tell you, I'm going with this young preacher boy. And I like him, and he loves me, and he wants to marry me, but he doesn't believe there's a hell. And Lois said, well, honey, marry him. We'll show him. We've been blessed, and then the boy came along. And I want to tell you this very solemnly, young men, that if the Lord had given me the material to make me a boy like I'd have wanted, I'd have changed a lot of things. I want to tell you this much, that that boy started out rough. Mother carried him to church when she put him in the cradle roll, and then on into the beginner's class, and finally she had the nerve to carry him into the main service. We had the greatest old pastor, old Brother Brown, and we're Baptists, incidentally. How many Baptists we got here? Woo, Lord have mercy. Well, how many Methodists? Look at there, and I can't tell you apart. But I do smell a Methodist preacher around somewhere. And that cuts my dirty jokes out. But I do remember one that I might share with you before I talk about that boy. The story's told that this young lady died and went to heaven, and St. Peter told her upon arrival, honey, we're glad to have you, and I know you don't know because you've never been here, but we furnish transportation according to your goodness on earth. Now, if you've been a perfect lady, you're going to get a Cadillac or a Mercedes or a Lincoln Continental. But if you haven't been altogether perfect, don't worry too much. You might get a Ford or a Chevrolet. He's looking at her record as he goes along. He said, well, honey, you don't qualify for the Cadillac or Mercedes or Lincoln. Turned over Ford and Chevrolet, and honey, you don't belong here. He turned on over to the Volkswagen. He said, you don't even qualify for a Volkswagen. He turned on over and he said, well, by being liberal like they are down on earth, we can furnish you a motor scooter. She took that motor scooter and went out riding the streets of gold and enjoying the beauties of heaven, only to turn a corner and have that thing throw her, boom, like that out on the sidewalk. She fell broadsided and began laughing her heart out. An angel excited saw her laughing like that, ran out to see what was going on. She couldn't quiet her. She was hilarious. She ran in and said, St. Peter, you better run out there and see about that girl. That motor scooter has thrown her harder than I've ever seen anything in all my life. And she's just laughing her heart out. Well, St. Peter ran out in his gruff voice. He said, young lady, what's so funny about getting thrown from a motor scooter? She said, oh, St. Peter, I'm not laughing about getting thrown. I'm laughing about what caused me to get thrown. He said, well, pray tell me what that was. She said, well, as I turned the corner, I saw my former pastor go by on a pair of roller skates. No insinuation. I love the Methodists. I never will forget when I was just a little bit of boy. My dad was a coon hunter, and he had one of the finest coon dogs you've ever seen in your life. And we were going into town one day, and this old coon dog was following us. And this gentleman stopped. My dad said, hey, is that dog any good? He said, the best coon dog in the country. He said, would you sell him? He said, oh, yeah, I'll sell anything. He said, well, wife, give me enough for I'll sell her. But anyway, he said, well, what do you take for it? He said, I'll take $100. He said, I'm fine. But said, now, I can't pay you on Saturday, but I'm a steward up here in the Methodist church, and I'll pay you Saturday. Well, that sounded so big to Papa, a steward in the Methodist church. He'd never heard of such things, so he sold him the dog, went on, and he met one of his friends uptown. He said, listen, I want to ask you something. What is a steward in the Methodist church? And this man said, well, John Davis, to the best of my knowledge, it's something like a deacon in the Baptist church. He said, oh my God, I've lost my dog. but back to that boy. I must tell you something about him. We had this brother Brown, as I told you, and he was our pastor when Ronnie was born, and he was our pastor for 5 years when Ronnie was 5 years old. Well, finally we lost him. We didn't fire him, we just stopped paying him. That's the way we managed to get rid of him, our preacher. And he took another job out at Kilby Prison as the chaplain out there. And I'll never forget his last message. And the closing of it I thought was so apropos. He said, well, you know, this is my last message for you. And I go to a new job tomorrow, but I want to leave you with the words of the Master. You remember where he said, I go to prepare a place for you, that where I am, there you might be also. And we had to get another pastor, and then Lois knew that the fat was in the fire. She had to get Ronnie prepared for that new man, because he wouldn't understand. Ronnie had gotten by with everything, sticking his tongue out at the preacher and all of this. And, well, she knew that she only had 1 week to prepare him. And she spent that week telling him, now, Ronnie, the new preacher's come. Brother Brown's gone, and he won't understand you like Brother Brown did. And I want you to, he's going to visit with us Saturday night, and I don't want you to talk too much. Yes, Mother. And now, he'll probably ask you what your name is, and you can say Ronnie Eads, but don't talk too much. Yes, Mother. And he'll say, and probably ask you how old you are. You can say 5 years old, but don't talk too much. This goes on like a broken record all the week. And he'll probably ask you where bad little boys go when they die. You can tell him to go to hell, but don't talk too much. Well, she thought she had him trained. Well, Saturday afternoon came, the preacher had just arrived, seated himself in our living room, and who would come through except Ronnie like a freight train. And that preacher, knowing how to get to the hearts of the parents by playing with the children, grabbed him around the waist and said, hello, son, who are you? He said, my name's Ronnie Eads, I'm 5 years old, go to hell and don't talk too much. There was one thing going for him that I was appreciative of. He always, as a little bitty boy, he identified himself as being Lieber Eads' son. And when I went off to the army, somebody would say, who are you? And he'd say, oh, I'm Lieber Eads' son. Well, it got to worry my wife. And she got him down to talk to him. She said, now, I want you to quit saying you're Lieber Eads' son. You're an individual. You tell him you're Ronnie Eads. Well, he remembered that quite well, and he adhered to what she had said. But I came home sometime later, and I notified them that I'd be in on such and such a train. And so they met me down at the train, and as soon as he saw me get off the train, he came running and threw his arms around my neck, and I said, now, who are you? He said, well, I thought I was your son, but Mama said I'm not. Well, he didn't grow out of that. He went on to school, went on to the University of Alabama, incidentally. Roll Tide. But he got over there, and he became the most selfish boy you've ever seen in your life. I did this, and I did that. Came home, said, Daddy, I want you to see my report card. Everything was singular. I looked at his report card, he had 4 F's and a D. I said, can you account for this? And he said, not unless I just spent too much time on one subject. I told him, I said, now listen, this is serious. I don't want this to happen anymore. The next time you bring the report card in, you'd better look better than this, and I want to see it immediately. He came in with it, handed it to me, said, "Here it is, Dad, and here's a photostat copy of yours." But as I said, he was the most selfish person I've ever seen in all my life. I. And I got tired of it. I didn't get to go to school. My education was interrupted in the first grade when I was called into the Army. And I wasn't even 18, so I said, "Now listen, I'm paying this bill and making it possible for you to go, and you know I didn't get to go to college, so why don't you share some of these things with me? Can't you say we did this or we did that?" And he said, "Dad, I never thought about that. I will." And so I began to get reports from him. "Dad, we went to the ball game this weekend. We had a time. We went over and visited some sorority, and boy, did we have a time." And all of these things, but finally I got a letter from him one time. He said, "Dear Dad, we're in trouble." He said, "We've been going with this girl, and we've got her pregnant. And she had twins." Said, "Now mine died. What do you want to do to them?" You know, where could an event like this take place except in America? Did you ever stop to think about that? And with all the fun that I enjoy, and with all the humor that I enjoy, and the way I really love to see people laugh and enjoy themselves, if I didn't share a few moments with you on the other side of the track, I'd be remiss. I would feel like I cheated myself and cheated you. Because many years ago, Alexis Tocqueville visited America in search of the secret of America's greatness. And he returned to his home to give this report. He said, and I quote, "I searched for America's greatness in her fertile fields and massive forests. It was not there. I sought for it in her great institutions of learning and higher education. It was not there. I sought for it in her great constitution and her democracy. It was not there." He said, "Not until I visited the churches and synagogues of America and found them aflame for God did I discover America's greatness." He said, "America's great because America's good." I thought that was the greatest thing that I ever heard from any man. And I felt so proud that he had made that statement. And until yet, I wish that he'd stopped right there. But that wasn't the end of his quote. He closed it by saying, "When America ceases to be good, America will cease to be great." And my fellow Exchangites, ladies and gentlemen, I see signs of corruption, immorality, things that I never heard of as a boy growing up. That makes me think that it might be later than we think. I've said this from Maine to California, from Washington to the tip of Florida. If America ever falls, it won't be because of forces from without. It'll be because of complacency within. And I want to talk to you tonight about what a great heritage you have and I have in being Americans. In fact, if I were going to title my remarks tonight, I would title them, "Count Your Blessings." Only 6% of the world's population, that's America, yet we own more than half of its resources. An accident? Just something happened? I would argue with you till I turned you in the face that it didn't just happen, but that the founders of our country who came here seeking liberty and justice sought the Almighty God's leadership in the founding of America. And that leadership has been sought all the way down, and God has blessed us. But how far can we go? Are we truly what we say in our pledge, one nation under God? When we're losing in percentage throughout the country every year, the church growth. More people out of the church than there is in the church. More people sitting complacently by than any other time in all the world. Everybody's saying, let George do it. I don't mean to alarm you, I don't mean to scare you, but I'm going to tell you this. That should we sit complacently by and let communism and atheistic movements take over our great country, the historians won't be as kind to us as Exchangites and as American citizens as they were to the people in Rome. All I've ever read about the fall of Rome is that Nero fiddled while Rome burned. They won't say Reagan or the caucus or Bush fiddled while America burned. They'll say that we as Exchangites and other service organizations, Christian people, sat by and let it fall. So we've got the greatest heritage in the world, got more to be thankful for, have been more blessed than any people in the world. But I submit to you that along with that, we've got the greatest responsibility that's ever been placed on any generation to preserve the great heritage that's ours. A few years ago, many of you probably, like myself, witnessed Jeremiah Denton when he stepped off of a plane onto free land after having been a prisoner of war longer than any other American in the world, 7.5 years. And you heard him say, God bless America. I got goosebumps then just like I have them now. But my mind couldn't dwell on that for long because I thought back to the birth of our nation when another man became prisoner of war by volunteering to go into the enemy lines and beg for the release of a physician that was very much needed back to minister to the sick and wounded in his own lines, only to be thrown in the dungeon of an old ship, a prisoner himself. And during the night, in that old ship, I can just see it now, probably one small porthole from where they were, and it blocked by that physician, anxiously watching. He posed a question. You know who I'm talking about, don't you? Francis Scott Key. And you know the question that he posed too, don't you? Let me share it with you. He said, oh say, can you see with the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming? And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in the air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. But say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the whole and brave? Don't you thank God that we can still say to it, yes? But can you imagine what it would be like if we had to say no, or if our children had to say no, that it's fallen? It doesn't wave proudly anymore. I pray I'll never see that. I pray you will never see it. But it could happen just by our complacency, by our leaving the fundamentals that has made America the greatest country in all the world. It don't have to happen if we as Exchangites, if we as Christians will only accept the proposition, the conditions that are laid down in the Word of God. In 2 Chronicles, he said, if my people, not those communists, not those atheists, not those who would destroy the very foundation that the world has been built upon, but my people, Baptists, Methodists, Christians, Presbyterians, my people, if my people which are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and heal their land. Francis Scott Key posed that question, but thank God he didn't just stop with a question. In writing the Star-Spangled Banner, which is now our national anthem, he concluded it with a prayer. You know what he said in conclusion? Let me remind you again of it. He said, "Oh, thus be it ever when free men shall stand between their loved homes and the war's desolation. Blessed with victory and peace may the heavens rescued land praise the power that has made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must if our cause it is just, and this be our motto, in God be our trust. And the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph shall wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave." Yes, we're the land of the free, but let me tell you that freedom is not free. It's been paid for that we might enjoy it at a tremendous cost. A young ROTC student down in Homestead, Florida, reminds us of the cost in one of his ROTC winning poems out of 235,000 entries. His was first prize. Let me share you what he said as a young man. "I saw the flag pass by one day. It fluttered in the breeze. A young Marine saluted it, and then he stood at ease. I looked at him in uniform, so tall, so young, so proud, with hair cut square and eyes alert. He'd stand out in any crowd. I thought how many like him had fallen by the way, how many died on foreign soils, how many foxholes were soldiers' graves." He said, "No, freedom is not free." He went on to say, "I heard the sound of taps one night when everything was still. I heard the bugle play and felt a sudden chill. I thought how many pilots' planes shot down, how many died at sea, how many foxholes were soldiers' graves. No, freedom is not free. But it's ours. It's been paid for. And let's take a new look at it. And in so looking, let's do a rededication of ourselves to the basic things that have brought us thus far." In conclusion, I told you a while ago that I would like to have us remember this night as count your blessings. And I close with this. Today up one of us, I saw a girl with golden hair. She seemed so gay, I envied her and wished that I were half as fair. I watched her as she rose to leave. I saw her hobble down the aisle. She had one leg and wore a crutch. but on her face a smile. Oh God, forgive me when I whine. I have two legs, the world is mine. Later on, I stopped to buy some sweets. The lad who sold them had such charm, I thought I'd stay and talk a while. If I were late, 'twould do no harm. And as we talked, he said, "Thank you, sir, you've been so kind. It's nice to talk with folks like you, because, you see, I'm blind. Oh, God, forgive me when I whine. I have good sight. The world is mine." Later on, walking down the street, I saw a boy with eyes of blue. He stood and watched the others play as though he knew not what to do. I watched and then I said, "Why don't you join the others, dear?" He looked straight ahead without a word. Then I knew he couldn't hear. Oh, God, forgive me when I whine. I have two ears. The world is mine. Two legs to take me where I go. Good sight to see the sunset glow. Two ears to hear what I should know. Oh, God, forgive us when we whine. We're blessed indeed. The world and America is yours and mine. So, God bless America, and God bless you.
Like, we're going to start at the top and go to the bottom. Our incoming President, Gary Graves. President-elect, Bill Berger. Treasurer, A.J. Noble. Secretary, Harold McMillan. Director, David McMichael. Thank you, Whitney.
And now, gentlemen, I want to talk to you eyeball to eyeball. And I want you to listen closely. You've been chosen to be the leaders of this organization that I salute for where they've come from. But I salute you on what I know you're going to do with the future. The past is gone. The future is in your hands. And you've been chosen, and you've been honored. But with every honor, there goes an obligation. So I want you to be mindful of the tremendous responsibility that lies on your shoulders tonight. To lead this great organization, this great American Service Club, dedicated to serving mankind and thereby serving our fellow man. What other organization would have a motto like ours, taken from the words of the psalmist when he said, "Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity." With that, we have the motto, unity for service, all working together. You as leaders, the other Exchangites as followers, are all headed for one specific purpose, and that is serving your fellow man, making a better place in which to live. And we have a covenant of service, gentlemen, that you've read many times and probably have it on your wall. I hope you do. You may know it from memory. But I want to share it with you again. And to you ladies that might have carelessly walked by and never focused upon the meaning of it, I want you to listen closely as to what a covenant we have with one another, you and me, you, all of us, 44,000 strong. Two things I want you to notice, especially. Number one is that we recognize the divine in the first sentence. Oh, yes, we've got the greatest service organization in the world. Secondly, that this covenant is a personal thing. Now, talking about my son a while ago, he could very easily use the singular there, and we use the singular because it's between you and me and so forth. I want to share it with you. I want you to listen closely, and I want you to think of it as though you were saying it yourself. Because after I've shared it with you, I'm going to ask you to make a pledge to it. Now let me assure you that it's not mandatory, it's not required that you make this pledge. And even though you should quote me or that you should respond to what I ask you to say, you will not be led into any deep channels of thought or persuasion that's against your will, because you will only make the pledge after I finish my entering I do. So with this in mind, let me share this covenant of service with you. To all of you, listen closely. Accepting the divine privilege of single and collective responsibility as life's noblest gift, I covenant with my fellow Exchangites to consecrate my best energy to the uplifting of social, religious, political, and business ideals, to discharge the debt I owe to those of high and low estate who have served and sacrificed that the heritage of American citizenship might be mine, to honor and respect law, to serve my fellow men, and to uphold the ideals and institutions of my country, to implant the life-giving, society-building spirit of service and comradeship in my social and business relationships, and to serve in unity with those seeking better conditions, better understanding, and greater opportunities for all. That's the covenant we have with one another. Gentlemen, if you will, raise your right hand, say I and your name, and then repeat after me. Pledge allegiance to the covenant of national exchange and to the ideals for which it stands, and being knowledgeable of the responsibility with my office, I promise to fulfill this obligation with fidelity, so help me God. Now, gentlemen, if you make this pledge, you will make it with I do. With that pledge, with the power vested in me by your local club, by the National Exchange Club, by the Georgia District, I declare you duly installed to your respective offices, and let me give you the right hand of fellowship and wish you God's blessings as you carry on this great tradition. Now, you gentlemen may excuse yourself, but I want you to remain with me for just a moment, because here I want Ann to come around and join you here. You're going to be calling the shots. You're the quarterback. You're the quarterback of this great exchange club, and I know that how important it is to have your wife with you on your side, and I know that you have Ann with you on your side, and I'm going to give her the privilege of pinning on your lapel the badge of authority. Will you do that, Ann?
I'd like A.J. Noble to stand. We as Exchange Club members, along with the better half of mine, and that's my wife, Kay. And I want to thank Kay and ask Kay if she would stand with me just 1 minute. We spent a year of doing some traveling as president of your club, of our club, and the first lady of our club. I didn't keep up with the miles. I didn't try the 17,000 miles that Don Baldwin drove or the 15,000 that Jim Sheriff drove, but we drove a few miles, and wherever we went and whatever we did it for our club. And listen, just because we're being put into the pasture tonight, let Rome, we're going to still be here. We love you. Thank you for letting me be your president.
thank you for being here tonight, because this is certainly a very special night for me, as you can imagine. I am very honored to be coming in as president of the Exchange Club of Albany, Georgia. And this night, of course, will live forever in my memory, especially since we've got Julie Taylor taping it for us tonight, so we can relive it anytime we want to. And we'd like to thank Julie for volunteering to do that tonight. I couldn't stand up here tonight without acknowledging that I do owe a great debt of gratitude to many of you Exchangites who have been so very special to me, and that you have given me your friendship and support through the years that I've been in this club. And of course, I couldn't mention everybody and recognize each one individually, but there are a couple of folks that I feel that I need to mention their names tonight, and one of them is Raleigh Johnson. When I came into this club about 10 years ago, for some reason or other, my sponsor left right after I came in, and I'm not sure if they ran him off for bringing me in or if he left on his own accord, but nevertheless, he did leave. And of course, Raleigh was secretary of the club at that time, and he was very special about being there with information, answering my questions, and would bounce ideas off of, and encouraged me to get involved in club activities. Thank you, Raleigh, for being a caring Exchangite and a good friend. John?
Marshall here.
Marshall? The next individual I'd like to thank is J.D. Adams. When J.D. came along just a few years ago, he came along with so much excitement and enthusiasm for Exchange that it made me want to get more involved and to go to the education seminars, to the district and national conventions, and just about any type of function that the Exchange was having. And I'd like to thank J.D. for your involvement in Exchange. It did make me want to be more involved. Thank you, J.D. Of course, Raleigh and J.D. both, I think, symbolize the quality and the character of this club, a club that certainly has a great and proud heritage dating back to 1936 to 1943, and then from 1946 to its present day. And when you look over the club's tremendous accomplishments over the years, you know that we've been a very successful club. You can look at the fairgrounds and the buildings and realize that. But of course, looking at the property and the buildings here is just half the story, because each year during our fair, we give away thousands of dollars to these young 4-Hers, FFA and FHA members and their clubs. We give away hundreds of dollars of admission tickets and ride tickets and food to many underprivileged children and adults in the area. And we give away a lot of prize money to just individuals for art and craft exhibits. And of course, that's just during the fair. After that, we take more of the money and give away to high school seniors for their college scholarships. We're now giving away $2,400 a year to 8 different seniors from 8 different high schools. This Exchange Club alone has been responsible for putting up 37 freedom shrines over the years. And when you think of 37, it might not sound too many, but now one freedom shrine has 28 documents to it, containing the great historical American documents, Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution, just to name a couple. And at the completion of this year's Pecan Festival Parade, in just 5 years, this club will have given away over 50,000 American flags in our Give a Kid a Flag to Wave project. This is a great club. Think of all the people that might have went by without getting any recognition at all if it were not for our Book of Golden Deeds, crime prevention, and fire prevention programs. And of course, hundreds of needy children have had a much brighter Christmas because of this Exchange Club. The club does have a great and proud heritage, and it gives Exchangites like me that just come along in the last few years a great base to grow from. And someone said that it doesn't really matter where you're at in life, it's the direction you're headed in. I like the direction this club is headed in, but I certainly also like where it's been. And this year, I pledged to you, took a pledge a while ago, but I pledge again the ongoing continuation of all the great programs of service that this Exchange Club does each year. And we're going to even try to add a couple of new ones like the Youth Talent Show and Milestones of Freedom. Of course, that's going to take a lot of work, and I'm not going to do it by myself. And you've already met the officers and the directors, so now I'd like you to meet some of the committee chairmen that's going to make it happen for us next year. Some of the people couldn't be here tonight, but I'll call out their names. And as I call your name, please stand. And if everyone will hold their applause, we'll give them a big hand when we get to calling out all the names. Headed up our Freedom Shrine program this year will be Bob Pollitt. Bob, you're here. Larry Scully had to go out of town, but he'll be our chairman for One Nation Under God. Buddy Haynes, Give a Kid a Flag to Wave. Buddy's not here tonight. Gary Knight will be the chairman of Milestones of Freedom. Gary. Crime Prevention Program will be led by Jesse Mercer. Book of Golden Deeds, Meredith Kenna. Fire Prevention, Jim Quinn. Family Days, Jimmy Huff. Christmas Party, Seth Collins. Seth went off to the National Guard this weekend. The Youth Talent Show, Mike Carroll's going to be the chairman of that for us. Sunshine Special, of course, always done here at the fair, Royce Militant. Attention and Membership, Rod Drake. Rod, come on, stand. Awards will be Bruce Boggs. Exchange Education, Ray Hinman. Ray. Fellowship, Rocky Brock. Fundraising, Jeff Sheffield. Jeff. Georgia Bluegrass Festival for the Prevention of Child Abuse, Gene Crow. New club building, J.D. Adams and Harold McMillan. Our parliamentarian, Ed Hughes. Publications, this is going to be the year of the comeback of Lois Lane. Lois Lane and Butch Griffin is going to be the chairman of publications this year. Billy Webb with Public Relations. And our Sergeant at Arms will be Frank Sumner. How about a nice hand for these exchange clubs? In closing out, I'd like to thank my family for their love and support and for being here tonight. Of course, I wouldn't be anything without them, and I love you very much. And I'd like to ask the entire family of Exchange to do two things for us next year. The first one is I'd like to ask you to pray as if everything depended on God, and surely it does. And the second thing, I'd like to ask you to work as if everything depended on you, and certainly it does. Thank you. I'm very honored and looking forward to being your club president next year. Okay, Marvin.
Is any of you ladies have not signed up for them?
Is everybody registered? All the ladies for the
We have all
flowers?
the ladies in the red box. While we're getting these ladies to sign up, I'd like to ask you to please notice we don't have the plastic on the tables tonight. We have the real stuff. We hope to change well with you if you like it. And I hope the incoming House Committee might do the same thing every once in a while. I'll tell you what, we're going to give this flower away first so each person can take it as leaf. We'll start over here with that one. No, at least we'll let it go something back. We'll say everybody's got to come on good. This is for your name. Gene Crow. Harold Town. Number 36.
Second table.
Where's Carol?
Over here.
Okay. That one right up front. Ronnie, go get your wax flower.
Yeah, right.
All right.
The middle one here. That's the blue. Katie, middle. This last one. Eddie? Josh. There you went all the time. This one right here. All right, one up there. All right. That is. Martha Taylor.
Congratulations, Jackie.
Take your drink. You got your apron on? Peggy Davis. Annabelle Lakeland. Nancy Crow. Which one? One that don't live. Rena, Michael. Now listen to this. Rita Howell. I think we ought to take that one back. Elizabeth Woodward.
Jack thought he had to sign up for the meal earlier.
That's Wallace's friend.
Two.
Mary Hill. Mary Hill.
Which one? I'll take it.
Patsy Bowen. Not me. She said somebody on the committee wants some.
Is that all the flowers? John, with your permission, we'll give this one to the outgoing.
You want to do with it?
I want to give it to the outgoing First Lady, Kay, for all her hard work this past year.
All right. Gary,
And Kay, yes,
are we through with Butch now?
no,
No?
no. Kay,
Please hurry up.
come back up, Kay. I
ain't locked on.
want to ask you to put this past president's pin on Butch tonight.
Family.
What you gonna do with the old one now? Punch out. And for you to remember the club, Butch, for your year as president of the Exchange Club of Albany, in recognition of loyal, dedicated service and outstanding leadership, the Exchange Club would like to present you this president's flag.
Sit down, Butch.
Don't forget to sign up. You're gonna help me cook next Thursday and Friday. I love you, each one of them. Your wives, I love them just as much. I love the children. I love Exchange. God bless you all. Thank you.
There will be no meeting next Friday, September the 2nd, Labor Day weekend. Everybody's going to the beach Harold said if you want to come by his house, though, he'd fix you a bologna sandwich. Is that right? We have a... One more thing. Okay.
Would y'all let me, yes.
Fair board meeting next Thursday night. We usually have one on the 1st and the 3rd in September, so it's next Thursday night.
I had one other thing that I wanted to do before I left tonight, and I'm sorry, it had to be right at last. One more plaque that I'd like to give away tonight. It was someone that over the years I've had to learn to love him, as aggravating as he can be. But he is a good old fella. And he's one that really, if you say, hey, would you do this? He'll go and do it. Ask him to feed a donkey, he'll feed a donkey. Deputy, would you bring Alex Trohan down front for me? Alex worried me. I didn't think he was going to come. Alex, as I told you, wasn't feeling good.
Put the cuffs on him.
I would have stayed away. Coffee wish you had.
I wish I had too.
I can't smell it yet.
I give him his donkey and his goat.
Come on. For those of you, while he's coming up, if you don't know him, he's a retired colonel.
He is not retired colonel.
Well, he's a tired colonel.
Not a tired, I'm a tired circus man. But
Oh, circus man. Oh, well. Alex.
It's a big difference.
If you look out on our field, where are you at? Right there. Will you come up here? If you look out on the fairground and you see grass being cut or things being done, if you need a water hose, you go see Alex. Now, there's two Alexes on the fairground now, so be careful. One of them is a jackass out here, and the other one is Alex. And look at them so you tell them. But Alex, I would like to. This award is presented to express our deepest appreciation for the work and support you give Exchange Club. And Alex, we all love you. We thank you, and we appreciate it.
Appreciate it very much.
Y'all come to the work party tomorrow and Alex will speak to you. He'll tell you what to do. A couple more announcements. We have a club. It's Monday, September the 12th at 7 p.m. And of course the work party tomorrow. To our friends from Columbus, Georgia, glad to have y'all down tonight. Come back anytime. And Liberties, you come back anytime too. We'd certainly be glad to have you. We'll even claim you as a Georgian and take you away from Alabama. One more thing coming up. There you go.
Brown, I'll mess up again. Lever, come in.
Give him one of those.
We're gonna have to send the rest of it to you. We do have a shirt we want to give you tonight. On the front says, Lieber Eves, Albany, Georgia. You go back to Montgomery, when you go to National Convention, it'll just help you, man, it'll build you up. I'll have to send you the emblem that goes on this side.
What can I say?
Can I say 2 words?
I don't believe you can.
Thank you.
Mystic, Georgia, huh? I think in Berlin, Georgia, we had Mystic beat. Did they say that Gene was in the National Guard? I wonder if he served with Dan Quayle. There's Mr. James back there. Gene, congratulations on the award of Mr. Exchange, and we'll ask you to lead us in a pledge to our flag tonight.